I'm going to take a quick peek over here at the standings. We're probably going to feasible get those right up on the stream, but I will look it up for now. It looks like the race is underway. So Space Cowboy is 0-4, and Rezi is also 0-4. So I'm not 100% sure if 2 and 4 people get a shot at the playoffs, but both of these runners are going to play their hearts out nonetheless. Shout outs to them. Alright, so Rezephos going to Sanctuary after getting that green bottle out of Stoops Longshoots.
And going to Sanctuary for that fire rod. Just to answer your question, it was the 3 and 3s have that crack at the 32-man race. Unfortunately, the 2 and 4s do not have that chance.
Ah. Alright, so already we see 300 rupees at the Lumberjack Hut. Don't think the players will be killing Aghanim just to get some rupees. And Rezi turning up a little dry. Ooh, the fire rod. So that Rezi already has that fire rod. Space Cowboy checking out the secret entrance east of the castle, turning up empty. But that's okay. Rezi's gonna have to check that out later anyway. So fire rod and green potion, good combination of items to get off the bat here.
Yeah, it is nice in case they have to dip into escape early on. They'll have a semblance of a weapon other than bombs for it.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the... Ooh, nice rupee pull. Looks like Rezi did not get that rupee pull, so Space Cowboy is gonna have enough rupees to... Guess he's not gonna have to buy bombs either. Wow, so Rezi missing out on these little minor item drops that are randomized. The tree pull and the crab prize. So Space Cowboy is going to be in good shape to go to Bottle Vendor and has enough bombs for Kakariko Village. And then even Mini Moldorm Cave if he chooses to take his fire rod there.
Absolutely. That's a little bad for Rezi because he did miss the crab for the bombs and the red rupee tree pull. But he is checking out the Bottle Vendor. I think it did give him 20 rupees. So he does have enough for the bomb shop now.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's true when you go... Well... Yeah. Yep, and there he goes to the bomb shop.
Yeah, so Space Cowboy really maximizing the tree pull value there with the 20 rupee drops, and he's gonna get the other 50 rupees down here. So he's gonna be pretty well off for his Kakariko visit.
A lot of the seeds I've seen lately have had big items in Kakariko Village, Flute or Moon Pearl, so... And then it makes you go into... It makes you double dip in the pendant dungeons, so who knows.
We'll see. We haven't seen too much yet, but they are going to hit the heavy hitters now. Meanwhile, we'll see both our racers picking up all the blue rupees and then getting another blue rupee in that chest there.
Yep, already saving up for that Zora item. Which they would have to sequence break to get to at this point, but if a sequence break pays off, it gives you extra information on items that come earlier in the sequence, so sometimes that's a good thing.
Oh, indeed. Just depending on what that item could be, like Red Cane or a medallion that would send you into a dungeon that you would probably know to stay away from just because of the sequence broken logic.
Yeah. So, for example, The logic always requires you to have flippers. Oh, what are those? Rezi already has them. The sequence always thinks that you need flippers to get the items behind the waterfall, where the waterfall fairy is, my waifu. So you can get in there as long as you have Moon Pearl. You can use a minor glitch to get those 2 items, but those items are always going to come after flippers in the sequence. So, like you said, red cane perhaps. If you find red cane behind, if you do the minor glitch and get red cane at the waterfall fairy, then you know that red cane has to come after flippers. Ergo, you will not find flippers in, say, Turtle Rock, which requires you to have red cane to enter.
Right, so say in that example, like you're looking for flippers for go mode, you know exactly to avoid that. So speaking of sequence breaks right now, they both do have the boots already. They can actually still activate a water walk with those boots in tow, even though they are missing the Moon Pearl right now.
Oh yeah. Did Rezi check the south side of Kakariko Village?
I believe he did, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, not a whole lot going on there.
Picking up those magic drops. Only best reliable weapon he's got right now is that fire rod, so he wants to get some fuel for the fire rod. Oh, but he's not going to go into escape.
Yeah, a little surprised by that play, especially with him picking up the magic drops there, but he's probably thinking Dam in Moldorm Cave right now.
True. Oh, we have blue 4-1 in order, so good old Pendant Eastern Palace. Yes. I don't know if that was intentional by Space Cowboy to jump in the water and use the iframes to get past that archer, or if he just accidentally fell in the water, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that was an amazing play.
Indeed, an amazing play.
Kind of funny we have the runners checking the items in a different order. Typically you'd want to open the chest first just in case it has boots. But they already had boots, so it didn't really matter, I don't think.
Yeah, it didn't really matter in the order there. Both not worth, just the plus 10 arrow upgrade and the heart piece in the pond.
Mm-hmm. Getting a little bit of link to the PowerPoint on Rezi's side here, but hopefully we'll get to see. Well, they're in the same spot. Oh, well, that's alright. He'll either use a green pot or bombs. Opting to go for the bombs while Space Cowboy goes for the... He equipped the green pot for a second and then thought better of it.
Yeah, it is actually much better to use the bombs here because he doesn't want to use that green potion until he really needs it.
Alright, so there's a glove that does allow them to get to Zora himself. Not the other 3 items near Zora, but the 500 rupee item. They would probably fake Flipper over there anyway because it's a little faster, but...
Yeah, it is
on the logic table.
Right, it is quite a long walk. I would imagine if they did walk there, it would be with the mushroom alongside them, so they can check that out as well. But you're right, they're probably going to end up fake flippering, especially in Space Cowboy's position with the almost 600 rupees he has.
Yeah, Rezi a little bit shy on rupees. Not taking advantage of those tree pulls like Space Cowboy did. So just a heart container in the ice cave. Both players going to save and quit, and possibly both go into the... Yep, they're going to go into the escape side room.
Yeah, it's pretty textbook from both players right now. Just kind of following the logic. Oh, Space Cowboy, we got a route diversions. He's going to go for the bonk rocks first here.
Yeah, it's slight diversion. Rezi, interestingly, using bombs when you can bonk that wall open, but sometimes you just... It's a little difficult dashing when you have no sword. Oh wow, the Titan's mid already. So progressive gloves, one leading to the other. Since the small key was in that side room, having the glove was the only way to get to that room.
Indeed it was, because they do not have that lamp, and the key was blocked there, so correct. Glove would be the only way to get there. So it is pretty neat that they have the Titans. Still missing the Moon Pearl from Dark World access.
Yep. And don't forget, depending on the location of Hammer and Flippers, a late Aghanim play could still troll them, so keep your fingers crossed.
Indeed it could, and even through logic, if they do get into Dark World and they are missing said Hammer and Flippers, like you mentioned, like that late world Aghanim play might be alive.
Yeah, unless these runners are proficient with the Water Walk, which allows you to actually skip the need for Flippers to get to East Dark World. I've heard about it, I haven't seen it done. It's one of the more obscure tricks in the game.
It's worth learning, though, because it could potentially save you up to 4.5 minutes from not having to do that escape play.
Mm-hmm. So the runners could technically go up into Death Mountain at this point. That again would be a sequence break, since they have to go through a dark room. It's probably the easiest dark room in the whole game. However, they still have a couple other places that they can check that are, you know, within the bounds of what the randomizer thinks that they should have access to.
Absolutely agreed. It wouldn't be a bad play to check that out there and activate the warp from the old man. Within the logic, though, like Space Cowboy is going, the best place of value right now would be Sash Cave and Eastern.
We have 3 chests in Sahasrala's closet here, and up to 3 items in Eastern Palace.
They also do have escape open, just because you do not need a weapon to progress in there. The logic will not actually restrict you, even though you don't have a sword or a hammer.
True. I guess it always assumes that you can collect bombs and use bombs to kill everything, so... But we'll no doubt see them use the fire rod if they go in there, so... And since they did not find the map in the escape side room, they might only find 2 items. They could find 2 items in the map, or they might find all 3 items, and that would place the map in the dark room. So it's just like Eastern Palace, it's going to be 2 to 3 items.
Yeah, that would definitely be the best case scenario for them right now, because, like you said, the lamp is not present, so it would be a sequence break. On top of that, they don't really have a sword or hook shot to kind of navigate through that dark room quite well in the sewer.
So we have the blue mail already for Space Cowboy. He's using the Dark Link Sprite, and Rezi's using the Vanilla Sprite, so we get to see the banana hat on Rezi's side. I guess if Space Cowboy's got a banana hat on, it's just one of those bananas that's been... It's well past making banana bread time, let's put it that way.
It's like those old ones that are like frozen in the freezer. So I'll ask that question, what happens if Rezi gets eggplant and so does Space Cowboy?
Well, then, you know, Space Cowboy's eggplant's just been cooked on the grill, that's all. Oh, so Space Cowboy doesn't want to go into the dark rooms here. So he's gotten all of the items in Eastern Palace that the logic sequence assumes for him. We'll see if Rezi decides to make a different play here. Could pay off going through the dark rooms, but all he has is Fire Rod, not even any bombs. He's got that green potion to charge the Fire Rod, but... I mean, it's not that difficult. I would say if he were going, you know, into the second half dark rooms, which he would need bow for anyway, that would be a little bit risky, but it's pretty much a straight line almost from the door to the pot where you have to pick up the key. Oh, and very clever, using the smoke puffs from the boots to determine where he is in the layout.
Very, very clever. Great visual cue, and he does get through there with a little bit of damage, but excellent job getting through that dark room.
Mm-hmm. And he may opt to employ the damage boost in this room, or he'll either have to use the green pot to fire rod the enemies. Oh, he's gonna go for it. Okay, so he'll either have to use his green potion and replenish his fire rod here, or... Oh! Of course, there are hearts under those jars. I knew that all along. But you actually can still clear that room. You can use the pots to kill the enemies, then reset the room. Resetting the rooms will replace the pots, but it will not respawn the enemies, so you can always get through that room. Unfortunately, a little bit of frame skip issues on Rezi's side. I did not see what was in that big chest. Did you happen to see that, Solsky?
Nah, same issue here, but we did see Space Cowboy getting the Moon Pearl in the first guard room in Escape, so Rezi definitely wants to head over there sooner than later.
Yep, and that, of course, with the gold glove, is going to give them access to West Dark World. And also, still won't be able to get to East Death Mountain even with a sequence break. I didn't catch if Space Cowboy had the map. It might have been a vanilla Hyrule Castle map in the first chest there.
No, the first chest was Moon Pearl. I didn't see the second chest, actually, because I was trying to check out what Rezi had.
Ah.
Yeah, just after a quick menu, it didn't look like he had anything of worth, so I'm going to assume he either got like rupees, an upgrade, capacity upgrade, or maybe even the compass.
Oh, on Rezi's side, yeah, okay. But I would like to know if Space Cowboy found the map in Escape, because that's going to determine whether or not... Oh, we have a map check. Alright, so we've got green and Thieves, red and Pod, 5 and 6 are 6 and 7. The red crystals are in Mire and T-Rock. So another green pendant pod. I mean, I always get frustrated with a green pendant pod, or I'm sorry, Thieves Town. A green pendant Thieves Town. This is always baiting you in, and of course the runners don't have hammer yet either, so they aren't guaranteed a full clear.
It's better. It's way better than pendant, regular pendant thieves for sure, because you do have that insurance policy of the green pendant having another item. So if it does bait you in for like 1 or 2 more items, then you can at least extend it by 1 more.
Alright, Rezi is doing a little sequence breaking with fake flippers here. Just a piece of heart so far. Okay, looks like he's fine on the hobo escape, fake flippers there. So, he's not gonna swim over to Zora. Space Cowboy, unfortunately, not finding a small key, has to go through the joke room. But he's definitely, I would say Space Cowboy has played V26 before. He wants to go into Skullwoods immediately. Alright, we'll try to watch Rezi's side here and see if he grabs that map from the second chest in Escape.
Space Cowboy definitely going to the Skullwoods, knowing well that it is very valuable in V26 for sure.
Mm-hmm. Plus, he can get to the final chest since he's got Fire Rod. However, he will be unable to reach Mothula unless he finds a sword.
I'll be...
You can't... Those curtains are... I don't know what those curtains are made of. They're not flammable. They can't be cut by anything. They can only be pushed aside by a sword. Like, I don't... It's kind of funny.
Yeah, they're definitely like wooden vines and they can't be burned. I don't get that either.
Alright, Space Cowboy's not going to try his luck in the second half of Thieves Town, or Skullwoods, or he found 2 items already, I'm not sure. Alright, let's see if Rezi's got the map in the second chest here. Okay, so, the map is in the dungeon area of Escape, which means there is still an unknown item in the dark room. that can be accessed at any time by a sequence break, or it could be part of the logic if the players find the lantern. That was a friendly little heart drop for Space Cowboy.
Very nice. I was about to mention, yeah, it's kind of bad to have that last item in the sewer, especially without a lamp or any kind of easy, like I mentioned with Eastern Palace, like any kind of easy identifier in the dark for them, like the sword to get through the snake room.
Oh, they have Fire Rod though. If they know where the torches are, that would make it pretty easy for them. Alright, so Space Cowboy may be heading it into Thieves Town. Trying to think. As far as... Okay, he is going in, so of course he cannot access the big chest since he doesn't have hammer. Now, as far as clearing the dungeon goes, he's gonna have to find either a green potion or a weapon of some sort. I'm pretty sure you can use Fire Rod against blind, but without half magic or some kind of way to refill your magic, you only get 8 shots, and blind requires 9 hits. Unless it's also possible to double hit. I don't know. Well, there's the single arrow for Space Cowboy, so GG. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm just kidding, of course. So Rezi is farming up rupees, has Zora on the mind for sure. It's already got the Moon Pearl though. Oh, of course. He has the Moon Pearl, which means he's going to use the fake flippers and walk on water trick to check Waterfall Fairy. And there's no better time to go over to Zora than while you're already at Zora. So 2 items already for Space Cowboy in Thieves Town. The other 2 chests had a small key and a big key, so no map or compass yet is good news for him since he doesn't have hammer. Anytime you're in a dungeon and you don't have the necessary items to fully clear it, you always dread finding that map and compass. Well, Space Cowboy's gonna peace out. He's gonna be satisfied with those 2 items. Maybe come back later.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't want to test his luck. Meanwhile, as you mentioned, Rezi is going to fake flipper his way into that waterfall cave as a sequence break to check out what those 2 chests are.
Everyone say hi to Mrs. Product. Although you don't actually see her unless you throw something in the well. And everyone say hi to Alec Baldwin on Space Cowboy's side. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch Beetlejuice. A lot of Tigs. And a lot of rupees. I didn't catch what was the ledge item. Let's see if I can watch it on the restream here. That's 10 arrows on the ledge. Alright, you think we have a life lesson here? I hear chat saying there might be a weapon there.
Just 20 bucks.
Ouch.
Meanwhile, Space Cowboy going for the Froggy World Tour here on electing to do South Kakariko. So what he's going to do is he's going to check a whole bunch of locations here going south. Finds Quake actually at Stumpy. He's going to save and quit and make his way back to Sanctuary and then eventually back to Kakariko to cash in the Smith fetch quest.
So you can check Hype Cave, which he's going to do. That's going to be 5 items. A couple of spots he's not going to be able to check since he doesn't have mirror. He won't be able to check the Bombmost tablet without mirror or a sword or book. Won't be able to check the spot south of the Grove without the mirror. But hey, 5 items, and like you said, he's going to save and quit. Now this is actually a recent change. If you've played older versions of Randomizer, you might think, why did he pick up the frog without the mirror? Well, you'll see in just a minute. Alright, so unfortunately Rezi's sequence breaking exploits did not pay off for him, but it looks like he's going to follow Space Cowboy's trail and go into Skullwoods.
Right, and Space Cowboy did pick up Ether and Hype Cave, so he does have 2 medallions now. He must be happy with that, knowing that Meyer and T-Rocker medallions.
Not gonna be too happy without a sword though, since he still will need a sword to use those medallions.
Oh, he needs a lot right now to get to both those places. Like you mentioned, like Flute Mirror for for Meyer, just Flute, sorry, and Red Cane Hammer for T-Rock.
Yeah, Red Cane Hammer, and I mean, technically aren't supposed to be able to get there unless they find Lantern or Flute. Plus, they'll need to get to the east side, which will require Mirror in addition to that hammer or Hookshot. But Space Cowboy, we have seen Mirror at this spot before, which is a really funny thing. Ooh, 10 arrows. 10 rupees for 10 arrows.
Not a bad play right now.
Oh, and Rezi going for a little hover strat there to get around the beetle.
I was gonna say it's not a bad play right now to kind of already leverage the Smith and the purple chest possibly, just because they are running out of locations right now without a weapon.
Yeah, and even they even can't get to Aghanim. I mean, without they would either need a cape or a level 2 sword. Plus, Aghanim is behind a curtain, so that's another hard requirement for having even at least fighter sword. And plus, there's everyone's least favorite dark rooms.
Right, and he is going for that purple chest already. I actually like this play considering he's already checked quite a lot, and there isn't much left to do.
I don't know if. No, I do remember Space Cowboy. I'm pretty sure actually checked this chest. He did it the vanilla way by going through the bush. Alright, so Space Cowboy taking the arduous trek to return Gary's lunchbox. Maybe a little harder to set up. Oh, wow. Thank you for returning my vintage lunchbox. Here's the 100 rupee reward. So Rezephos trying to set up a bootless bomb jump here, but he has boots. Maybe he's just, I mean, if you learn a trick one way, usually you're just comfortable doing it that way, so.
Yeah, it is a much easier bomb jump with the boots, but as you mentioned, he might be just more comfortable with the lineup.
Yeah, at this point, I wouldn't blame him if he just walks around and goes through the bush.
And nothing at Agina's. This is an odd seed to start here.
So what's left? The rest of Thieves Town.
Yeah, it's the back half of Skull and the rest of Thieves Town right now. That's basically it within logic. I mean, you can sequence break to a couple of places without the lamp, but our runners are trying to keep within the logic as best they can. Space Cowboy actually going to do what Ruzzy did and start to sequence break here because he's had enough.
I'm not playing by your rules, Randomizer. Get that magic drop. Yeah.
I don't blame him, man. Like, he's not finding anything, so why not? There's like 5 items here.
Wall Master grabs Rezi there. So Rezi is diving deeper into Skullwoods, so he may find something that Space Cowboy's gonna regret skipping later on. Can you imagine there being a sword in that one chest behind the monolith of Skullwoods? That would be nuts.
It's actually starting to look like it now.
Okay, so that is the Death Mountain access officially with the flute.
Death Mountain in Mireshed now.
True.
So yeah, it gets him access to one item in Death Mountain within the logic in the Spectacle Rock Cave and 2 items in Mireshed here.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, if they rescue the old man, that's one additional item outside of the logic. So Rezi, I wasn't sure if they found 2 items. I know he found a small key in one of the chests. But yeah, Space Cowboy's going to be kicking himself when he goes back into Skullwoods and sees that flute.
Yeah, that is going to be particularly bad for him, especially if Flute is locking one of the swords, because he's not going to come back to Skull for a while now. All right, so we see Rezi doing the chess game, but unfortunately, he's too poor to do so. Yeah, those 300 rupees at Lumberjack Cave's looking real good right now.
If only they had a sword and another sword and lantern. But yeah, sometimes if I'm a little short on rupees and I know that I've saved in Quat recently, I will actually reset after finding Zulch Zora.
Right, and
so
no, go ahead.
Rezi's going into Thieves Town here. He's going to have another opportunity to dive deeper into a dungeon and find something that Space Cowboy hasn't. And speaking of which, I think you were about to mention Space Cowboy making that return to Skull Woods.
I was like, oh wow, I'm actually surprised he went back this early, but maybe he just realized that he doesn't have a whole lot of options here and is electing to already go back. So he definitely knows there's at least one item here he can get. I wonder if Rezi's going to risk diving deeper into Thieves here while he's here.
Yeah, again, no way to kill blind right now, so he might not even want to go into the second half, but what if all the swords are in the second half?
Well, we're going to find out because he's diving in. Even if he runs into something like Blue Cane or Red Cane, he can at least defeat the boss handily if he gets magic. And he does have a green potion he should be able to use.
I'm trying to I thought that somebody had already used the green potion.
With Space Cowboy.
Space Cowboy, yep. So maybe, I'm guessing they must have only found one of the two items because Space Cowboy's got nothing to do here other than open that chest. Cape.
Oh, and there's the cape. So Bumper Cave is available for them now.
Yeah, unfortunately he saved and quit, so he's not going directly there. I mean, unfortunately, in that we won't get to see it. Fortunately, because it's a statistically good play for Space Cowboy. Well, I don't know. Death Mountain's only one item at this point.
So Rezi's actually cutting his losses here. Now going to perform a Death Warp. It looks like he's probably just going to go ahead and finish off South Dark World now instead of going to Blind Cell.
Yeah, that small key does indicate that there could be an item in Blind Cell. So, but.
Right, could have an item, could have the compass or map. He's just like, yeah. I'm gonna hedge my bets and go where the bulk is. And then once again realizing his economic situation and the shovel game actually rejecting him as well here.
Oh man.
Poor Rezi, literally.
So, we had some people in chat say that they didn't think you could use Fire Rod on blind. I was just wondering if anybody knows positively whether or not Fire Rod works on blind.
I thought he did. I mean, if Red Cane's gonna work on it, I would imagine Fire Rod would. But
yeah, but you also can't use arrows on blind.
Right. And it's like you can use Fire Rod on Armos. It's the bosses are weird in this game.
You can use Ice Rod on Landmos. I'm gonna have to double check my tracker and make sure the code's right for blind in that case, because I may have included Fire Rod as a possible weapon against him. Note to self. Find out thing. red rupee on Spectacle Rock, and I don't know why I care, because they can't get it anyway. There's that sword.
Sword.
Oh, Rezi got told on. First he kidnapped Zelda, and now he's kidnapping that little old man.
So you know what finding the sword means, right?
It means he can go back to Skull Woods. Oh no, I was thinking Agadim, but then Lantern. Ah. Actually, it means they can go into Mire.
now.
Yeah, that's even better.
Well, that is where the logic is taking him without that lamp.
A little more comfortable in the dark room with the sword here, so at the very least, Space Cowboy is going to grab a checkpoint out of this, and potential for old man kisses.
Alright, so I imagine Rezi's gonna grab his sword here once he gets this Spectacle Rock Cave. And indeed, he's going up there now too.
Alright, this is a capacity upgrade, so this Bumper Cave still hasn't been checked either.
Good point, because that is within the logic now. The game did give them the cape. That could be big.
And just in case you weren't sure and haven't read the sign outside of the cave, you need cape, but not hookshot. Oh, he's gonna go for that hover, but it's... Oh, man. Incredible. Wow. Well done, Rezi. That saves him a lot of trekking.
He was going for the reverse hover too, and then just didn't quit. He wouldn't have been able to get anything else anyways. I think he was just doing it for show.
That's a really risky place to hover too, because if you fall, you have to walk around that fairy room and then climb that long ladder on the outside of Spectacle Rock Cave.
Yeah, it actually saves himself about 30 seconds to like 30 to 40 seconds at least hovering there, so that is quite nice. Space Cowboy does not find anything on that bumper cave either, so it's looking more and more like Mire's going to be the play.
Yeah, Rezi's going to take that sword into Skull Woods. Now, he will find the cape, and that will be the final item. But he may try to use that fire rod to kill Mothula. Mothula is a really tricky fight in any scenario, but having only fire rod and fighter sword to do the job is really tough. Fighter sword, you would have to charge up a spin attack and hit him, and that would only count as master sword damage. And there's still, of course, the restriction of the spike immunity. So if you spend all that time dodging all those spikes, charge up a spin attack, and knock Mothula into a spike, well, you haven't accomplished anything. Meanwhile, Space Cowboy is going to clear out Thieves Town. He will be able to defeat Blind with that fighter sword. Fighter sword is pretty good for Blind. Blind takes 9 hits no matter what attack you use, no matter what level sword you have. So that's why you see a lot of runners opt to go into Thieves Town as one of their first dungeons.
Right, and speaking of Blind, I did some research for you, and Fire Rod does not damage Blind. So Chad is indeed correct.
Oh, he's got the magic trap. He's gonna need that to open up the monolith. I think there might actually be a magic drop under a jar in the last room here. Maybe not. Maybe it was a drop off of the beetle there. Oh, thank you for the bits.
Yep, you're
Brought
right.
to
Chat
you
is
by
never wrong.
Dodongo's O's. The cereal is good to eat. Just don't mix it with bombs or smoke. I usually put milk in my cereal, but I might have to try that bombs or smoke. So Rezi's gonna have a very difficult Mothula fight. Oh boy, he's gonna have to get these 2 magic jars under the skulls.
Now, he didn't use his magic potion, correct, for the green potion?
You know, I thought that he did use it when he went to get the big key chest in Skullwoods, but I could very easily be wrong about that. So Space Cowboy is going to leave behind the big chest here, unable to access that without hammer. Man, arrow drop. So he does not even have enough magic power to get through this room.
Oh, he's gonna have to farm here.
Yeah, there are 2. No, I think there are 2 small magic jars here as well. And you actually can hit the 2 torches in the middle with 1 horizontal shot, so that'll save him some magic power, and a nice drop from the Barry as well. Meanwhile, Space Cowboy in the final phase of the blind fight here, still plenty of health. He will get, I think Blind has an item, but he'll get that green pendant. Yep, so Blind had an item, just red rupees, but he'll get the green pendant that will yield yet another item when he goes back to the hospital to turn it in. And Rezi missing a small magic jar underneath the top skull there, but looks like he's already determined to do his sword spins. So he's making, getting a lot of good damage in. Unfortunately, so are the spikes.
Indeed, it is a very difficult fight with Fighter Sword here. He does want to concentrate on spins to do Master Sword damage as much as he can. His Fighter Sword damage only does like 2 health of damage to Mothula.
Oh, nice. Gets out of there with 2 hearts.
Yeah, that's a great fight by him.
Yeah, only has the map, but he's gonna get a crystal. And I don't know, I'm thinking, I hope he goes, oh, just bombs from Zahasrala, so not a good time investment for Thieves Town there. I'm hoping Rezi goes to check out that bumper cave now. What do you say? Well, he has to get the meat first. We saw it?
Yeah, I think it was either Rezi or Space Cowboy, but it was only about $5.
Ah. Well, Rezi is about to grab the cape here.
Yes, he is. And Space Cowboy going in here, and it will be mire time.
Oh, Vanilla Ether, we could get a bird toss here.
I think he carries it in.
Yay!
Playing to the crowd there.
Alright, if you guys are just tuning in, welcome to a Link to the Past Randomizer tournament on the Speed Gaming Network. If you've not seen a Link to the Past Randomizer before, it's a Link to the Past, but the items are randomized. So it creates a whole new game experience, all new puzzles for the runners to have to figure out here. We have a race between Spacecowboy2011 and Rezephos, or Rezi for short. Unfortunately, both players are 0 and 4, and are eliminated. Will be eliminated from the next round of the tournament, but still playing their hearts out, trying to get that win, trying to put on a good show for us. So make sure you give both of these guys a follow. While you're sending out follows, follow Speed Gaming, this channel, Speed Gaming 2. So just a blue rupee on the bumper cape. Speed Gaming 3, Speed Gaming 4, for all kinds of speedrun race tournaments. You won't regret it. And And also, thank you so much for Solsky for joining me on commentary here, and also Stidariel for doing the tracking for us.
Alright, so nothing so far in Meyer, but there is still quite a bit to do. He does have access to every location here that would contain an item other than Vitreous himself, unless he does get the cane here.
Cane and a soft requirement on the lamp. So it's kind of a catch-22 there. If he finds both of those items, then there's nothing else to find, because there's only 2 items. But with the cane, he would be able to sequence break and have a nightmarish fight against all those eyeballs and no bow.
Yeah, fighter sword, bombs. Yeah, so far though, just a nasty seed.
I remember way back in the day in super old versions of Link to the Past Randomizer, we didn't shuffle the swords around, so you could actually just take your fighter sword, go over to blacksmiths and get a tempered sword every single seed. That was pretty nice. Not as fun though.
I was gonna say a little bit of NMG mixed in with the randomizer there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard there's also sword downgrades in the older versions as well.
That was unintentional, I think. Oh, Space Cowboy didn't have enough magic power to light all 4 torches. Rezephos right on his heels. He's also going to check out Misery Mire. Which, pretty much it?
Down to 1 chest. Now he's got to be careful here to make sure he doesn't waste any magic, because he only has enough magic for 4 shots.
Well done.
Yep, well done.
Rezephos seems to have cast ether on his stream. Yep.
All right, what is it? What is it going to contain?
Mirror. That'll get him in the Tower of Hera, which is 2 items and a crystal. That'll also open up a couple of overworld spots here and there.
He's going to use it to check the nearest location, which is going to be now desert.
Yeah, he's going to check Checkerboard Cave first. Oh, right, it will open up Desert Palace as well. Good call. And since they have boots, since they have Fire Rod, they will be guaranteed a full clear of the place. So they'll get 2 items and a crystal.
I think Rezi is going to be happy to see those 300 rupees when he gets the checkerboard.
King's Tomb, I'm pretty sure was checked.
Yes, it was. I think it only had rupees in it. Oh, the hook shot. Here we go. Okay, it's starting to open up now.
Alright, now they can access all of Death Mountain. Except for the Spike Cave, since they don't have Hammer.
Yeah, with everything that they checked right now, that's probably going to be their A1 priority place to visit. That's definitely going to be on their radar. I mean, you only still have Fighter Sword and still looking for a whole lot of value. You're going to go to the place with the highest amount of with items right now, and that's definitely East Death Mountain, Darkwood Death Mountain.
An unfortunate death for Rezi. Even just the entrance of Misery Mire is really far away from, yikes. So, we see another seed here where the bonk is required to get into Misery Mire, since Hookshot, I mean, unless the book turns up in a spot that we haven't thought of, the only way to get that hook shot was to use the mirror that they found in here.
Yeah, I'm quite certain they've literally chucked everything that they could have within sequence.
One of the convenient things about entering Desert Palace, the way that Space Cowboy did, is you can mirror right back to that exit on the southwest side. And there's the hammer. That's that'll open up pretty much every overworld location now. I mean, obviously, except for, you know, like Mushroom and Shovel, but yeah.
Right, we went from like 25 to 30 minutes of looking for things to now having everything. It's kind of awesome.
Yeah, the biggest requirement that we haven't seen Bow yet. Yikes! So there's still Bow and Ice Rod and Cane of Samaria and an unknown medallion requirement for T-Rock and Flippers in Swamp Palace is Crystal. Space Cowboy seems to have forgotten which jars had keys in them. Maybe he just got off of playing a Scudge Plando. Or Scooge.
I was gonna say maybe an entrance shuffle with the key shuffle on.
Oh, he forgot to get the big key? What? Where is he going? I'm not sure why he... maybe he thought he had Fire Rod equipped and he used the mirror by mistake trying to light those torches. I mean, I guess if there's direct sunlight on the mirror, you could light something on fire with it.
Maybe he's looking for more magic, because using that mirror is going to refill all those pots, and that could be why he was checking all the pots, was looking for magic.
But he only needs 2 shots, and I don't think he even got the magic that was in the room. I'm wondering though, I mean, would mirroring to reset all the magic drops, would that actually be faster than fighting Landmola with the fighter sword?
I don't think it would be, especially with the hammer. You can use that as a backup, because it would do tempered sword damage.
Alright, that would be a good play.
But he did get his magic, so he is going to have, I think, 4 Fire Rod shots here, so he'll be able to take out 2 Lamos if he hits all the shots.
Alright, so Rezi's going to read the logic and check Checkerboard Cave. You don't want those rupees, Rezi? You haven't gone into Pod yet.
No, Rezi, get those rupees, please.
I mean, Pod is a pendant, but you do need 110 rupees to get in there if it's required.
And he hasn't done Shovel or Chess Game. We know there's nothing in either of those locations, but that's going to haunt him for a while. Like, it'll end up just pushing him back there late game. So Space Cowboy going to get his crystal in Desert. Now, where's he gonna go? I think he has to go to 1 here, through Flute, and then East Death Mountain. That's exactly where he's gonna go. Good call.
Interesting, he's going to start with the top side. He's got an option though. I mean, he's got mirror and hammer to go the top way, and he's got a hook shot to go the bottom way. I guess if you go the top way, you can start with Spiral Cave and then jump down to the other Light World caves. Otherwise, you'd be going up and then back down away from the Turtle Rock portal.
Yeah, I'd say this is probably the cleaner route he could have done. Especially since he wants to complete Air for Crystal, he has all the components to clear it. And you're right, he'll be able to just drop down from Spiral Cave and go on the way back up.
Not to mention, there does seem to be an emphasis on collecting items from dungeons, so maybe he feels he's more likely to find Cane of Samaria or Bow in here, rather than the myriad overworld locations. Oh, Rezi's gotta be careful with his health again. Ooh, wow.
Oh, those dodges.
Go back. I thought he'd go back to get that heart. I think there's a heart or two in this room, though.
Yeah, there's 2 hearts in the south pots from him here. He's gonna go pick them up.
Randomizer menuing woes. I know you well.
Alright, so Rezi's going to make his way and fight off Lamolus now, and Space Cowboy actually heading up to Moldorm.
Oh, that's a cheeky little strat here. So not only does he get to face the direction he wants by holding his sword out like this, but also if he misses with the hammer, he could still land a poke or a spin attack as backup.
Right, that was actually a really, really nice fight for only having 3 hearts. He took like 1 hit for half a heart of damage. Great work.
Yep, Space Cowboy just using straight hammer strats on Moldorm there. One of the really nice thing about that, of course, is you bypass the enrage phase.
Alright, and Rezi electing to go up to Death Mountain as well now. Oh, there's Arcane. So yeah, our runner's just continuously finding the progression now after being locked out of it for quite a while. All they're really missing at this point, like you mentioned, is Ice Rod, Bow, Flippers, and they also want to pick up a sword or two now, I would imagine, at this point.
Yep. So, what do you say? Have they checked? Yeah, the green pot was in the beginning. What do you say about finding the red cane there, and you're right next to Turtle Rock? You don't have Ice Rod yet, but you're right next to Turtle Rock, and you can check most of the stuff. Do you go in?
Absolutely. I mean, you're already there, right? So you're doing East Death Mountain, Darkwold Death Mountain about 58 minutes in, and the seeds kind of pulled you into the direction of, okay, here's all the items, go towards it, so might as well.
Yep. There's the shovel. And Flippers, that's really good. But I'm thinking, even if I have to find Ice Rod somewhere and come back to Turtle Rock, Bow's gotta be in there, right?
Bower Boots. So yeah, with the Flippers there, that opens up Swamp Palace and Ice Palace now.
Yeah. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still do not see which medallion is the Turtle Rock lock, so for all we know, it could be Bamos and they can't even get in.
And there, Space Cowboy gets his second sword, the Master Sword. He's going to be loving that. And setting up for the bomb jump across the gap there. It looked like he's probably about 1 pixel too shy on the right there.
Yeah, there's a pretty simple setup for that bomb jump. If you stand basically on the bottom left corner as far as you can go, you can just put a bomb down, and you don't even have to move after placing the bomb. But then if you do it that way, you run the risk of tiptoeing into the hole before even getting a chance to put down the bomb. And it's just another situation where you're usually comfortable just doing the strat that you know.
Oh, it's Quake, so we do have access.
So at the very least, Space Cowboy's going to open this up while he's here. Then if he opts to go in after getting the red cane and the other chests in this area, he won't have to go back up there. So I'd say he's got a mind to go in there since he's opened it up.
Alright, Space Cowboy actually picking up his tempered sword. Like, this item train will not end.
Yeah, I'd be happy to find Tempered Sword, especially if I'm going into Turtle Rock. A lot easier to fight Trinex with Tempered Sword than with Master Sword. 'Cause Master Sword, you're switching over and using Hammer, and no one likes doing low percentage strats. Of course, that all depends on them finding Ice Rod as well.
Indeed it does. Now, did they find both items in Mire?
See, obviously there was Mirror. We have chat saying they recall Vidi having one, Vitreous. So, yeah, that could be the next item they need. It could be Ice Rod.
Alright, and Space Cowboy going to test his luck in T-Rock here. Honestly, a great play I would find because he already is here. Why not? You have the medallion as well. Might as well poke your head and check. See what you got.
We're over an hour in and no shields yet.
It's a very unsafe seed.
Not counting the 3 bottles he just picked up. I would also like to point out, Rezi hasn't picked up any more rupees.
I think he's still going for those low percent strats.
Yeah, I mean, everything's looking really nice for these runners until they realize, until something like Bow inside Palace of Darkness or something like that happens.
Right, and just to come to think of it, Rezi's going to pick up 300 rupees actually when he picks up his Tempered Sword, so he's going to be forced into a rupee situation whether he likes it or not.
Yeah, he's trying to be ascetic and, stay away from the evils of monetary gain, but he'll find his efforts are a little futile. Hey. Uh-oh. Those bow wows sure do pack a punch. Oh. You've got cape. Don't risk it. Jeez.
Oh, I got him right in a corner too. He's got to be careful.
They're out for blood. Oh, totally worth this 10 arrows. Oh, he's a little risky. You have to really move fast to outrun that anti-fairy coming down those steps.
Yeah, no one dies going down those steps on the Indie Fairies, right, guys?
Only in Oko. Where was that other sword that Space Cowboy got? Was that in the 5 chest mini Moldorm room?
Yeah, it was. It was in the 7 chest cave in the 5 chest portion.
Okay. Rezi's gonna be making his way over there, I imagine. Oh, there's the book. So there's a couple more items they can check. The Bombos and Ether tablets. I guess that's probably the Draconomicon, since it's in, Dragon Palace.
Chat's asking where Shovel was. It was also in the 7 chest cave. It was in the 2 chest portion before you head up to the 5 chest room.
Oh, Rezi actually walked back through Hookshot Cave. You actually can just jump down off the floating island. So that was a missed opportunity there.
Yeah, I probably just forgot. Alright, Space Cowboy going to elect to check Mimic. Why not? You're still looking for go mode items here. Good, and he is going to elect to use the pole tech. So what he's going to do here is he is actually hitting A twice as fast as he can to grab onto that ledge. And what that allows the game to do is basically think that Link's still moving, and it'll pull the mimics towards whatever direction he wants him to.
How's that how that works? That's why I can't get it to work, because I don't know how to do it.
There you go. You can also swing your sword a lot, like really fast as well. It does about the same thing, but the pole just does it a little bit quicker.
Space Cowboy taking an intentional death here just to refill some of his health, since he just walked into that entrance.
Very smart heads-up play. Meanwhile, Rezi's electing to not go into T-Rock here. He's going to go check out the shovel right away.
Yeah, we don't yet know which of these two plays is going to pay off, so...
Well, so far we did get the book from Space Cowboy, so he'll have a pedestal advantage, although it can only be the bow at this point, I would imagine. Or not the bow, sorry, the ice rod, because both Eastern and Pod are pendants. Mm-hmm. And in Rezi's side, he can just elect to check other dungeons now ahead of Space Cowboy.
You know, Bo could actually be in Ganon's tower.
It could.
Since they can complete all the crystal dungeons without it, and they don't actually need Bo until they get to the 2nd floor of Ganon's tower. So, shout outs to Tile Room Bo, guys. Wow.
Right, that will actually be very interesting here. So if they do run into Ice Rod first, one of our runners, it'll be quite intriguing to see if they just elect to go mode the rest of the dungeons and take their chances in Ganon's tower.
Yeah. I mean, why not? You already got to check all the chests looking for Big Key, right? And Rezephos is gonna hope to, I suppose, find Ice Rod in Swamp Palace here. Meanwhile, Space Cowboy's only got a couple of chances left before he's gonna have to turn tail and run out of here. He did take the safety exit, so if he takes a bit of a beating from these eye lasers, it won't be too much of a loss.
All right, last chance.
So, oh wow!
Oh wow!
Someone
That's
just
huge.
called that in chat too.
That's huge.
I mean, I guess it just means that there are a ton more places that Ice Rod can be. I wouldn't be really be too happy to see that, honestly.
But it's more for the situation that you called about Bo being in Ganon's tower. So if Rezi runs into Ice Rod, he might go mode right to Ganon's tower.
Oh, yeah, that could be a problem.
I mean, and depending on how many dungeons or locations he skips at that point, like if he finds Ice Rod in Swamp, that can be really bad. It just depends on if he remembers that or if he elects to do that.
Alright, so Space Cowboy, not the prize he was hoping to get. He probably wanted to get that Ice Rod so that he could finish up Turtle Rock, but gotta be happy to see that bow.
Most definitely, and that puts Space Cowboy just a nice rod away from go mode. Meanwhile, I do believe we found the Butter Sword in Swamp here, so Rezi's at least going to be very happy with that. And there's the first shield.
And Space just wants a couple hearts. He just teases that shield. Aww. Whoop. Rezi got sniped by that little four-way turret. That only goes off if you have your sword out, and the game thinks you have your sword out. I mean, I guess you kind of do since you're doing a dash. It counts as having your sword out. Actually, if you don't have a sword and you dash, I wonder if does that activate it?
That's a very good question.
Space trying to cash in on that book only gets a piece of heart off the Bombo's tablet.
Yeah, so for Rezi's sake here, he doesn't want to have that book containing either Ether or Bombos Ice Rod, or else that's gonna be really, really bad for him here. But in the meantime, it's one more location we haven't found it yet, so all's game so far. And nothing on the left side so far for Rezi and Swamp Palace. Space Cowboy also dipping into Swamp here. Great play for him right now.
Yeah, every time I play this game or watch a run of this game, I mean to look at the carpets at the entrances of all the bosses, but I always forget. Like, I always just like, I get to Argus and I'm like, oh, there's the Argus welcome mat. But then I forget, like, to check every other one. Trinex has a picture of him. I'm pretty sure Vitreous has a picture of himself as well. All these bosses are really vain. Not sure. I think Helmasaur might, but it's in the dark.
Helmasaur does have one.
I know that at least Landmollas. I think all of the Light World bosses just have like a generic like cattle skull.
You're right.
It's kind of like a Gaster Blaster.
Yeah, the 3 pendants are all generic, and then all of them, I think, except for Blind and Moth, have their own kind of carpets. Oh yeah,
Right.
Cold Stare doesn't
Blind,
either.
Blind, it's kind of like, oh, there's the lantern. It's kind of like a secret. Wait, that's really interesting because the flippers were in Turtle Rock, so. Or wait, no, I'm sorry, the flippers were not in Turtle Rock. I'm silly because Rezi isn't going in there. But yeah, with Blind, it's kind of like it's a secret boss room, so they don't want to call attention to it. And Mothula is it's like down a hole, so.
Alright, so logic time. So with them getting the lamp in Swamp, the logic actually wanted them to go to T-Rock and get the bow. I wonder if the logic is dictating them to go to Pod or Eastern to get that ice rod.
Yeah, they'll probably do a full clear of Ice Palace first, I would guess. But yeah, there's always that trolley possibility. That's right. Thank you, Jagger. Aghanim 2 has a Mothula carpet. Like, he just went into Skullwoods and stole Mothula's welcome mat. Threw him in a hole.
That's actually hilarious.
So if you live in Aghanim's neighborhood, don't leave your welcome mats out when you come home at night. It's like, he thinks that it's a welcome mat. He thinks that that means, well, you are welcome to take my mat. Yeah, cute little Argus. Wait, that welcome mat had like 2 eyeballs. Argus only has 1 eyeball. That's kind of funny. Or maybe it's a side view. Maybe Argus has an eyeball on each side of the shell.
It must be an unlicensed mat.
He bought a bootleg welcome mat of himself.
Yeah, so we're online.
He's like, wipe your bootlegs on the welcome mat before coming into my house, even though the floor's flooded anyway.
Alright, so Rezi making the Ice Palace play you were talking about. Being a crystal, it is a great call to go here. You do have everything to complete it. Might as well.
You know what happened, I bet? I bet Argus's grandmom bought the welcome mat. And it's like, oh, my grandson's on all this merchandise, and she went to the place wherever grandmas buy like Christmas presents, and they were like, yes, lady, this is a 100% authentic Argus welcome mat. And she's like, oh, my grandson will love this. Yep. Rezi not afraid to use all those bombs.
Sorry, I had to cut Mike for a while. I was laughing too hard there. Alright,
Well, at least you weren't laughing at yourself.
So Space Cowboy electing to go back to Vitreous, knowing that the second item is here. I think a really smart play on his part as well, just because he does have the right cane and everything to finish off. I don't want to leave this one too long, just in case it is the Ice Rod.
Yeah, and since the other red crystal is at Turtle Rock, we know that Fat Fairy's not going to have that Ice Rod, unfortunately. And conveniently also just grabbed that lantern out of Swamp Palace, so makes these rooms a heck of a lot easier.
That actually might be another indicator why he went back there, because now it is within logic.
Yeah. So we've yet to check Spike Cave, we've yet to check Ether Tablet. Ether Tablet Ice Rod would be a nice troll, since we have that book in Turtle Rock.
We also yet to check the sewer chest, actually, in Escape.
Ah, that's true. Ah, come on, Rezi, just hover. Nice bomb jump setup there. I'm not even gonna bother to equip the cape. Oh, he might now. One of the really nice Vitreous strats we've seen in randomizers in days of yore is just what Space Cowboy did there. You have the cape, you have the butter sword, you just dash, give him the old 1-2, and then 8 arrows to the face, or eye, the big face. Mushroom. Hey, he can. I wonder if he's gonna do a fake powder before turning that in.
Yeah, he could do that. He does have the wrecking.
A recently discovered glitch allows runners to use mushroom and red cane to trick the game into thinking you're sprinkling powder on Batcave. I mean, that's... If it's Ice Rod, that would be incredible, and would just make me wonder where that powder is. So he's gonna check the shovel here. Oh, you got the gold guard glitch. I wonder if he is thinking of that fake powder. That would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, we'll know in about 3 seconds what he's gonna do if he switches back to flute and flutes to 2.
Oh, he's gonna turn in the mushroom. It'd be funny if it actually is a vanilla powder here, and he ends up going to Batcave. Oh, Rezi not having the big key. Ah, just the red rupees. Can Cold Stare drop the big key since they've got the red cane here? Or no, I'm sorry. Even with red cane, you would need the bomb jump to get down here.
I was about to say, yeah, he doesn't drop the big key ever.
Okay, so the bomb jump is necessarily not required by the logic.
Right, so Cold Stare could drop a small key or not, and you're right within the logic. If I can't remember if it's Cold Stare drops a small key or not, you would need the red cane to get through. I think it was if he dropped the small key, you need the red cane to finish technically within the logic.
That makes sense because that crystal that the developers intended for us to use is behind a locked door. I feel like the just an arrow capacity. I feel like the intended route for Ice Palace is just like is so obscure.
It is, just because that bomb jump does make it so much faster, and even with without it, if you just use the red cane to kind of get through it, or if you decide to even do vanilla, it's, I don't know, most times it is faster with that bomb jump, so that you don't even have to worry about the vanilla route.
Alright, Rezi's gonna clear out Vitreous as well, so runners have swapped places here. Space into Ice and Rezi into Mire. Space getting the double kill on the 2 papyruses there. Space Cowboy? Oh, he did the strat in the donut hole room. So
Nice first try bomb jump by him too.
yeah.
All right, so Cross, you're in these runners' positions. Since they're both kind of switching positions here, where would you go next?
Check pedestal first. It's a tough one. Actually, Space has not yet killed Mothula, so he might... Hasn't he? I guess he hasn't, so... Yeah, that's right, he got the cape out of there, and then I think peaced out, and then... He didn't have the sword, that's right. When Space went and got that cape, I don't think he had a sword yet, did he?
I don't believe he did.
So... That means... Yeah, he does have to go back and kill Mothula, so... That's picking up a crystal that you're going to have to do. And then getting that pedestal check since he's got the book, so... That would be good for Spaces. And for Rezi... Oh, boy. I mean, Rezi doesn't have that bow, so... Eastern Palace is off the table, and Pod is very undesirable. I don't know. We haven't had any East Dark World check yet, right? We haven't had Catfish and Pyramid check yet?
No, we haven't, just because they didn't have an early look there. And once they had Hookshot Hammer, they both went right East Death Mountain, Dark World Death Mountain, and got like everything.
Yeah. But you know, it would be really, you know, we commentators, we always like to try to come up with the trolliest scenarios, right, Solsky?
Sometimes.
Well, I do. I think the trolliest scenario we have right now possible is Magic Bat's got Ice Rod and Powder is on the pedestal.
Which would make it even more interesting if Rezi decides to use that exploit.
Yes. But he's not.
I mean, that's probably the last item Space Cowboy's gonna actually want to see at pedestal if he does go to Skull and then mirrors out to check pedestal.
Oh, yeah, Powder, sure.
But I would imagine Pod's probably one of the next dungeons he's going to do anyways after that, so it probably wouldn't matter too much to him, but he's probably not going to be happy about it.
There are still those East Dark World overworld locations. There's still Ether Tablet. There's still Spike Cave, which would combo nicely with Ether Tablet. Alright, so Rezi is going to go into Palace of Darkness here and hope to find the bow or a small key on the chest on the left. That's the only way he'll be able to move forward.
What if he finds that ice rod in that first chest? I mean, did Laser Skip have a key? Or would they've in Gomo would they have had enough keys? Do you remember?
I remember that it wasn't one of the bottom two chests. There might have been a key in one of the top two. Alright, there's a small key. Rezi will be able to check a bunch of items in Palace of Darkness here. Gonna be missing out on two chests on the east side and will not be able to get to Helmasaur King. Alright, there's a small key, so he is first gonna go fall down the left side and get that, come back up the stairs in the center of this room. That's where the big key normally is in Vanilla. And Butter Sword fight for Space Cowboy, who ripped PB on Space Cowboy's end. His timer just turned red, but who cares? PB and Randomizer it's kind of funny. I mean, sometimes you just get dealt a seed that makes PB impossible, but well, anywho. Alright, so there's the big key. He's gonna have to use that small key to get to the collapsing bridge. Then he'll have 3 items to the right of that room. And then 3 more items on the left side if he finds a small key there. There is, of course, the possibility of 2 remaining small keys being on the bow-locked side. Oh, he's gonna bomb jump, actually. That's gonna save him a key.
Yeah, very nice play from Rezi here. You're right, it will save him a key, so he will be able to check out the statue room if he so desires.
Space Cowboy's gonna check out Pod as well. He's gonna read the logic from that bow. And he'll be able to mirror over and get the final item from Armos Knight. I think he had an item. But didn't actually find a small key here, so... Oh, wait.
He's gonna check Pyramid first.
Huh, let me think about this. Let's see, he could... There have to be 3 more small keys, I think, in Pod. They could technically be these 3 chests he has available to him now. Or a lot of times, the trap room south of the 4 turtles here will have a small key and be like, use a key to get a key. Oh, there's the ice rod.
Ice rod.
So it was in Pod and it was not bow locked. So Rezi, the only item he still has to find to beat the game is the bow, and he only needs that to finish up Ganon's tower. But it's going to be interesting to see if he's banking on that bow in Ganon's tower, or if he's going to check all the chests in Turtle Rock like he said.
I have a feeling he's gonna still full clear T-Rock because he was looking for that key in Pod just in case he had to go back, but he should know he's in go mode after that bow.
Yeah, it's assuming he does do a full clear. Almost got duck napped, or napped by the duck, or nabbed by the duck.
Duck something.
He almost did it bad. But anyway, as long as he gets that bow from Turtle Rock, he's going to be right outside of Ganon's tower with 7 crystals. He'll be in very good shape.
Right, meanwhile, Space Cowboy does have to complete Skull, as you said, and it looks like he's going further and further away from Pod. This is not good for him. Oh, he's going to check North Graveyard Ledge. I see what he's doing.
Even if Space Cowboy does find Ice Rod quickly, he still has to clear Skullwoods as well. Remember Rezi made that... What? Oh, he hit the hammer, hit the pegs in the wrong order. That's not randomized, Rezi. It's still right,
Whoops.
north, left.
Oh, can you imagine if that was randomized?
It would be just tedious. It would just be like, you would get it in 1 to 6 tries. Like, it wouldn't add any kind of challenge or anything interesting. It would just...
Oh, you'd see racers have meltdowns live on stream for sure.
Yeah. What is this? A Super Scudge Plando where they just shuffle around stuff like that?
Like just the small details you wouldn't think that would get messed around with.
Yeah, he really likes to play with your head. Like, I thought the button was under this skull. Like, something like that. So yeah, I did also want to shout out Rezi's Skullwoods play earlier and his really amazing Mothula fight with the Fire Rod and Fighter Sword and no magic refills. I'm not sure. I don't remember if it makes... Yeah, I think it does make the sound effects each time. So that's a good point. It wouldn't require 6 tries because once you hit the first peg, you know if that's right or not. So at most it could take... I guess the most it could take 5 tries. Or wait. It could take you up to 3 tries to get the first one right, and then up to 2 tries to get the second one right. So it would actually be 5, even though the permutation would yield 6. Hey! Wait, 4 max? Let me think about that.
I think he means 4 guesses, and then the 5th one you would
Oh, I'm
get
sorry,
right.
it is 4. It is 4 because when you get the first one right, that's still the same attempt. So it's not using a third one and then using 2 more. It's using the third one, continuing that one, and then doing a second one from there. So it is 4. Chat is right. Chat has corrected my math. Ooh, man, Rezi's been haunted by the deaths in this run, but he still finds himself ahead. Meanwhile, Space Cowboy finding that there is only couch cash on the Master Sword pedestal.
Alright, so Space Cowboy making his way to Moth now. He wants to kill him. He's going to have a very quick fight with the Fire Sword Butter combo, but he needs to go pod right after.
It is also worth noting that I don't know if it's worth noting, but I like talking about classic Randomizer, about what we used to have to do. There was a time in Randomizer where Mothula could not be killed by Butter Sword. So since the game's coded that Mothula doesn't take damage from the spikes, that also means he doesn't take damage from Butter Sword, since Butter Sword does the same amount of damage as spikes. So the developers of Randomizer had to recode the Butter Sword damage against Mothula so that it does tempered damage instead. So that's kind of interesting, I think.
Right, I do believe you were able to poke Mothula because it would do the exact same, but you're right, you wouldn't be able to do any kind of swings with the sword.
Ah. Alright, so Rezi used a small key from Pokey to check this chest. That tells me he is looking for Bow inside Turtle Rock, so this is going to be good for Rezi. However, Space Cowboy only has to go into Turtle Rock and rush straight to Trinex. He doesn't have to open any chests. He doesn't have to do Laser Bridge at this point. Meanwhile, Rezi still has to go around the long way to check the big chest. Still has to check the Mimic Cave if he wants to exhaust all of his options here for Bow.
Right, and Space Cowboy electing to still continue to check Overworld over that pod dungeon he needs to go into.
Oh, wow, I completely forgot. Space Cowboy doesn't even have Ice Rod yet. Never mind.
But you're right, like, he only has to go into T-Rock and then he's good. It's not like he has to full clear it again or anything like that. So it's going to be about a 2.5 minute trek back to Trinex. But he is pretty close to exhausting all options, so he is eventually going to go back there. It's just a question of when at this point.
Yeah, you know what would be a really trolly seed is like if you put Bow in Eastern Palace and then you know, you have the green pendant be required for Sahasrahla to get the boots just so you can finish Desert Palace, and then like you actually have to get the Master Sword off the pedestal because it's the only way to get to Aghanim, and you can't get to Dark World because Hammer and Titan's Mid are in the Dark World. How trolly would that be?
I actually lived part of that troll in my race yesterday, so thanks. It was vanilla green pendant Eastern, and it had vanilla boots.
Whoops.
Wop 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 wop. But anywho, back onto the race. Space Cowboy is electing to check out the Spike Cave there. It looked like he was going to flute away, but then he remembered about the cave. And Rezi is going to be making his way to Laser Bridge very shortly. Oh, here we go. Here's the play. He's going to 5.
Yeah, unfortunately going to be too little too late since Rezi is for sure about to pick up that bow. And it's a good thing he's looking for it because he does indeed have that small key to get the Trinex.
Yeah, because he does have the 1 key here, so you know he's definitely looking for the bow. He's not just looking for another key.
I'm curious that he's actually starting at the top and working his way down when he's already at the bottom.
Which is where it is, too.
It's kind of like really trolly. Kind of like in Vanilla how you need the small key from the 4th one. Like, they put it on the last one. Of course they expect you to have Mirror Shield, so it's not as big of a troll, I guess.
There it is. Rezi's in
Alright.
go mode.
Not even gonna bother to see if there's a shield in that chest.
Or silvers.
Or half magic. Yeah, that's true. I mean, we haven't seen silvers yet. As far as Rezi knows, that's where they could be. Oop.
I mean, we could lie to him in the post game interview, but he's gonna know with Ganon telling him anyways.
Yeah, we just need to distract him while he's fighting Ganon. Every time someone uses magic while their magic is refilling and like it still fills it up all the way, that always reminds me of Zelda 2. So like it fills it, like if you pick up a red jar it gives you 8. Oh, bad Trinex, he peed on the carpet again.
Yeah, no one likes dealing with Trinex when the ice head happens to cough up some ice and make the floor all slippery, but it actually in a very fortunate spot, completely out of the way for Rezi there.
No, Carissa. Actually, Zelda 2, a red jar would fill you up by the amount. Maybe it is one. It could be one more, but I don't think so. Never actually did the math, believe it or not. Space Cowboy, that bow hurting him, sending him the wrong way in pod. But get your guesses in because we're about to enter Ganon's Tower on Rezi's stream here.
Yep, so to those that aren't familiar with the game we play here, Ganon Tower, where's the big key? You gotta pick a number between 1 and 22, that's the amount of locations that could contain it.
I'm gonna go with 1. So yeah, the red jar would fill you up by, for example, 8 if your max was 8 squares. So like if you have 2 squares, you wouldn't have enough to cast life. It costs about 3 squares. So you could have 2 squares, pick up a red jar, and as it passes through, use it. Ooh, half magic, real nice. Looks like I'm out of the contest already though. So then it would end you up with, like it would use the 2 that you initially had, but then still fill up 8 gradually, and you would end up with like 7 instead of filling it up to 8 and then using the 3 and ending up with 5. I just spat out a lot of meaningless numbers for a game we're not even playing. I apologize. This is linked to the past item randomizer tournament between Space Cowboy and Resi. Follow the runners. There's the powder. Did you find silver arrows at Batcave?
They both could have. Alright, so Space Cowboy does find his Ice Rod in pod and is in go mode now. Stops for a quick pit stop at the Witch to buy a blue potion, is now heading towards Trinex. He has already cleared most of T-Rock. He just has to defeat the boss itself.
It selves.
Oh yes, because of the 3 heads. Selves. You are technically correct, the best kind of correct, I guess.
Shoutouts to Futurama.
Alright,
Conrad Hermes. Guys.
So depending on where Space Cowboy does elect to go for G-Tower right now, he might gain quite a bit of ground on Resi. I don't know if it's going to be quite enough right now, but it could be significant depending, since Resi still hasn't found that big key.
Or perhaps if he checks some extra chests and gets silver arrows, that'd save him some time against Ganon as well. Significant amount of time against Ganon.
Right, so we do know it's not left side, so Space Cowboy's definitely going to want to go right.
Whether he knows it or not. Which he doesn't. But maybe he'll have that gut feeling telling him to go to tile room first, even though there's no small key.
Oh, there wasn't a small key on the right side, you're right.
You can always take the one under the skull and then go back up. But who would be crazy enough to do that?
Yeah, you could do that in the Dark Magician route too, where he goes to the hookshot chest, picks up the first 4, and then mirrors does right side.
No Bob today. Hey, he picked up the fairy on the way down. What? The only time I've seen that lingering hitbox during the fall be advantageous to the runner. Usually it's you get sniped by a fireball or grabbed by a wall master as you're falling. Alright, that Armos fight was nice and smooth. Almost, dude. And it is going to be right side.
Or tile room. So interesting enough, tile room does not require a key.
Oh, that's true.
So I mean, if Space Cowboy goes to G-Tower and he feels like ridiculously behind and kind of all-ins it, he might have a shot at catching up. I still think he'll be a little behind, but I think that's what he needs to do here to catch up.
Yeah, but he at least wants to get himself in this striking distance. You know, just in case something unforeseen happens.
Right, and like you mentioned, these runners don't know where they are. They might have that feeling. They might feel like they're ahead, so it's tough to gauge right now at this point in the race.
I would think that Space Cowboy's unnecessary double dip into Turtle Rock is going to make him feel behind.
Oh, and it's tile room. Alright, so number 22 wins it.
Or if Space Cowboy goes right in there without even checking the 2 chests, it could be number 1. Cross products still in the game.
Look at all the angles.
Also of note, Space Cowboy does have those blue potions. So that's gonna bail him out if he gets into trouble. It's could also possibly embolden him to take more risky plays than Rezi would be willing to do.
Right, and Rezi's gonna be forced into the safety room near the cannonball room because he does not have any magic. He's gonna have to get that full magic fill before he goes up there.
There are a couple of magic drops though. There's one. There is a magic jar in the bottom left skull in the spike tile room, like the spike crystal room he's coming into now. Then there's one right after Landmo 2. There's also one in the second gauntlet room with the 3 Stalfos. Oh, there's even another magic jar under there.
Yeah, there is.
He keeps throwing all of his magic away at anti-fairies though.
He's actually low in health here too. He's gonna take an intentional death.
Oh boy.
All right, what does Space Cowboy do here when he enters G Tower?
Maybe Rezi's going for that play again where he wants to respawn the items underneath the skulls. Or maybe he just wanted the health refill. So he only gets the 1 magic jar in that room. He's got half magic though, so should be okay. So where do you think silver arrows are? That's another hanger right there. Space Cowboy is gonna go left, at least to that Stalfos room probably. Yeah, he equipped the hammer, so he's planning on going west from this next room.
So silvers could be Sewer, I believe Armos, Helmasaur, or a item in G Tower from all the locations all the runners have checked.
Yeah, Space Cowboy did check out Spike Cave and Ether and check Pedestal Forest too.
Yeah, and Graveyard Ledge. He checked a bunch of locations Rezi didn't end up checking. It could be Powder as well, which would be hilarious.
Yeah, if Ganon says, "Did you find the silver arrows in Light World?" then we're just gonna say, "Yeah, that was it." Let's see. I think he says Hyrule Castle in the case of it being in the Sewer Dark Room.
Yeah, so Rezi is low on magic here. Fortunately, he does have the Butter Sword, so he's going to make quick work of the Lamos worms. And like you mentioned, there are about 3 or 4 green pots he's going to be able to pick up here to refill just enough for either Fire Rod or Lamp.
Yeah, he's gonna have the 4 shots needed to get through the Fire Bar Torch Room, since he has half magic. I think. Oh, but he's gonna use some of the magic. Well, I think at very worst he just has to do Lantern strats. He should be fine.
Yeah, he should be okay. Meanwhile, Space Cowboy continuing his way on left side. He's going to be a little disappointed here. Going to make his way to Ice Armos. Will find his Bombos and will clue into right side. But will he do Tyler Room first, or will he actually do the right side? I would imagine, much like Rezi, he will, in fact, do right side first. Alright, just red rupees and bombs from the mini Moldorm room here. There's 2 more chests in Ganon's tower that Rezi can check. One in this room here, and one after Moldorm 2.
Yeah, Rezi is definitely hoping to find those silver arrows. He's going out of his way. Well, not really out of his way, but he's making sure to check everything that he's relatively close to.
Yeah, it honestly doesn't take that much time to check, so at this point I think he feels comfortable enough that, yeah, it's worth the time to look for him. It will save him a couple of minutes in Ganon for sure.
Wow, there they are.
There it is.
Validated.
And silver's in that final chest, that's nice. So, save 2 minutes in Ganon.
Mothula rug. Oh man. I think my new favorite meme is the Grandma Bay Argus rug.
What?
The Grandma Bay Argus rug. Like the bootleg Argus rug that Argus got from his grandma for Christmas.
She got on like a third-party online website, yeah.
My new grandma's don't know how to use the website. She probably found it like a lunch truck or something. Ooh, Space Cowboy. About to get his big key. He'll be heading upstairs right as Rezi is about halfway through the Ganon fight. Oh, probably not even halfway, but...
I'm probably thinking the same thing that Rezi was probably thinking. Of course it's here. Yeah, Tile Room, typically the last place runners will check for good reason. It's about a 1.5 minute commitment just to get one chest. Meanwhile, we do see Rezi over here using the Magic Cape and Half Magic to his advantage, trying to make a very quick Ganon fight here.
What locations have they not checked? Ganon's Tower, big chest. Oh,
almost took a fall there.
He didn't equip the silvers. Whoops. Did not get the torch glitch, but with half magic, it's not. Uh-oh, now he's gotta
be careful here.
Good double hit.
Oh, that's extremely close.
He's gonna switch to Lantern just to make sure he's got enough magic to finish the fight. I don't believe he's got any potions. Alright, he's only gonna be able to get a single off of this. I think he might still have just enough Lantern time to get another hit. Oh, not at all.
Oh, no.
He still has a sizable lead over Space Cowboy. Space Cowboy only just entered the gauntlet, and he still has to find silver arrows. He still has to decide whether or not he wants to keep looking for them first.
Indeed he does, and Rezi will be fighting Ganon with less magic here, so he's probably not going to elect to use the Magic Cape, and he's going to stick to probably Torch this time around. Oh, using some dash strats here. Very nice.
Not really. Never seen that before. That's interesting. Oh wow!
Wow,
Just narrowly
that was
dodging all
also very
those.
impressive.
I guess when he dashes, maybe the knockback isn't as far when he lands a hit, so he can stay inside that ring of fire.
You actually have to cancel the dash when you get close to him to get that poke damage, because if you hold on to it, you'll go actually right in the cannon, and he'll give you one of his infamous hugs. So it's actually quite a hard technique to pull off.
Okay, he's gonna go over to Lamp. Yeah, when Ganon gets knocked over that hole, you can't land another silver arrow. So like basically you have to push him along the floor. Once he gets to the edge of the screen where he's hovering over that hole, he won't take any more damage from silvers.
And there we go, Ganon's down.
Yeah, it did finish while Space Cowboys in the last couple rooms of Gauntlet here. Or this floor of Gauntlet at least.
I was gonna say, thank God his arrow count is up because he could have soft locked himself. And
Yeah,
GG's to Rezi.
If you run out of magic, and yeah, if you run out of magic, you basically you have to jump in the hole and go get more magic. Winner! So Rezephos has finished in first place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 0 minutes, and 47 seconds. Congratulations to our victor.
Yeah, nice win from him there. Came back from the Ganon death, as you mentioned. Space Cowboy still had a little bit of catching up to do, but still an exciting finish nonetheless. That was quite the peculiar seed, wouldn't you say?
Let's see. Eastern. Yeah, I think it's another one of those kind of funny where Lamp was sort of situations. Since it was actually one of the few version 26 seeds where Turtle Rock wasn't required early. The only major item that was in there was book and bow, and then it turned out the only thing bow was needed for was to finish Ganon's tower.
Alright, looks like Rezi's ready to join us for an interview here.
Let's grab him. GG! How you feeling right now, Rezi? Exhausted and speechless. I know the feeling.
Yeah, he's holding us to suspense right now.
Oh,
Hey!
apparently Silver's Ganon is way harder than Silverless. Would have been better off not getting this stupid validation chest.
Yeah. Did run a little low on magic there, though.
Yeah. I totally called Silver's being in that chest. I don't know if you were watching my stream and you could see my camera the whole time, but I was like, what the hell?
I think Willard actually mentioned that Willard was watching your stream during the race and saw the reaction on your webcam.
There were some good reactions, I think. I got my ocarina out and played it every time I fluted.
Nice.
So, Rezi, what were your thoughts on that seed?
I thought it was a really fun seed. Turns out when you have Titans and Moon Pearl that you can go to Dark World and not farm rupees for Zora. But
Whoops.
Yeah, I actually thought you were just trying to be thorough with the clear, just hoping that there wasn't anything else of worth there, actually.
yeah, I honestly just did not remember at all. I have to forget one huge thing every time. And that whole run, I'm thinking about that stupid chess game again. But this time I knew I skipped it. And now I was fully prepared to go straight to it after T-Rock. And then that
But-
final chest bow happened in T-Rock.
Yeah, we were afraid you would just skip all the items and gamble on finding Bo inside Ganon's tower.
I was gonna do that if bow wasn't in T-Rock. That or go back to Village of Outcast.
Well, with the location of the big key, I mean, you
Oh
wouldn't
my
have been looking at
God.
any extra chests for Bo, huh?
So I never ever go right side, but during this race I was like, I'm gonna go right side if there's a key. And there wasn't a key.
Aw, man.
I would have had it.
You don't need a key to do the tile room, though.
Is there not a key? No, oh yeah, I guess you're right. Still.
Alright, so Space Cowboy having a pretty nice Ganon fight there, using those cape strats just like Rezi did. And having those silver arrows from the validation chest makes pretty quick work of Ganon. He finishes in second place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 11 seconds. 4 minutes and 24 seconds behind Rezi's time. And Space Cowboy comments, his goal was to do the last sensible thing possible first, which was go inside Turtle Rock, I guess, which paid off with the bow, but unfortunately no ice rod there at the time. Alright, so let's go ahead and grab our other runner here, Spacecowboy2011. Hey, welcome, Space Cowboy. That was a well-fought race.
Yeah, I suppose.
Well, I mean, I always feel like in Link to the Past Randomizer, you always have to take risks, but you never know which risks you should be taking, so...
I went into this with the race really doesn't matter as far as the results, so I'm going to do the craziest things first. And that's kind of how I approach this one.
Looked like you had a lot of fun for it, and it was a lot of fun for me to commentate. I'm sure Solsky would say the same, and I'm sure the audience loved it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great play there actually to go into the early T-Rock when you guys were in the East Death Mountain, Dark World Death Mountain because it led to Bo. It's just unfortunate the ice rod was giving both you guys a little bit of trouble looking being in that pendant pod.
I didn't count. Was the ice rod technically locked, or could you reach it without the bow?
Rezi did reach it without the bow, in fact.
Okay, I wasn't sure about that because I knew there were small keys on the right side. And I wasn't really keeping count. I was just like, I had pod.
Yeah, there was a small key. There was a small key on the left side for Rezi, and then he found the second small key to get to the collapsible bridge. Actually did a bomb jump to get the big chest in the dark maze first, and then was locked out and had to mirror and go back around, but
Yeah.
find the ice rod, which is
Sequence
clutch for him.
breaker. Dirty Resi sequence breaking.
Get out of here. That's my routing for that seed seemed really strange. Go into Skull for flute. Go to Meyer for nothing. I don't think at the time. And then or did I go into Meyer then?
Meyer
remember.
was my Meyer Aga 1 play because I had the cape from Skullwoods. I had found the sword. So I didn't even think that, I hadn't found the lamp yet. So that's what I was thinking between Meyer and doing Aga 1 in the dark. And so Meyer came up with the mirror. Yeah, because Vitreous had the other item.
Yep. I've personally not seen anybody do Aghanim Tower in the dark in this tournament. I don't know if anybody else has. And if so, did it pay off?
Because Aghanim sucks. There's just no other way to put it. Aga 1
You did Dark
blows.
Aghanim?
No, I was considering it.
Oh.
I was kind of disappointed when I found the lamp and swamp, actually, because I kind of wanted to go back to Meyer and do it in the dark just because. Make it a little bit more fun for y'all and the viewers. That's kind of why I did the T-Rock early gamble. I'm like, I have no ice rod. I know I'm not going to find it, but let's do it anyway.
All right. Any closing thoughts on this seed or the tournament in general? Start with Rezi.
No.
Anything you learned from this seed that you can take with you to the Winter Rando tournament, if there is one?
Do the chess game.
Yeah, watch your rupee count. I mean, you always got to watch your
Oh
bombs.
my
and arrows,
god.
but watch that,
I
those
totally
rupees as
forgot
well.
that.
What
I
Definitely.
would
did
do
you
the
do,
shovel
Rezzy?
game even after that.
I would
Let's do it.
consider. I would add to that. Consider if Zora turns up with Bunk and you have a recent save and quit. Just do not hit reset if you haven't saved in a while. Just give yourself a second, think about it. Did I just save? And if so, maybe I want those rupees back. But yeah, that's and with pod being required, that's another 110 rupee requirement, right?
Right, it was actually quite funny there because you actually did skip up on 300 rupees in checkerboard. And we were like, no,
Yeah.
Rezi, don't go back, get the rupees.
Ended up finding another 300 drop in Death Mountain. How about you, Space Cowboy? Any closing comments on this race or the tournament in general?
The
Anything
seed
you
was
learned?
garbage.
The
Like,
seed was
literally 30-something minutes. We get early Titans, okay. I finally go into Escape, find the Moon Pearl, okay. Systematically checking every place one after the other.
That's true.
And-
It did put Death Mountain really late in the sequence, and it just straight up baited you into Turtle Rock. I mean, we were talking, Solsky and I were talking, we would have made the same decision to go right into Turtle Rock and hope to grab that ice rod there.
Yeah, because it was like all of a sudden, we have very few items, and then all of a sudden we get the mirror. Okay, now we can go into desert. Oh, look, there's the hook shot. Oh, look, we have the flute. We can go up Death Mountain with the hook shot, the mirror, and items just rolled in. The flippers. Then we also found the hammer. The red cane was up on Floating Island, and all of a sudden, it was ice rod and bow missing. I think was literally it.
How about
They-
that Desert Palace though? What the hell is that? The hammer and hook shot.
Yeah, with the hook
Yeah.
shot on the ledge, which, it would actually required the,
It required the mire.
yeah.
It required fighter sword mire dip without the red
Since
cane.
hammer and hook shot were both locked in the Desert Palace area, there was no way to East Death Mountain, so you had to get that mirror out of Mire.
Yep.
All right, well there you have it. Yet another trolley seed for A Link to the Past randomizer. Thank you again so much, Space Cowboy 2011 and Rezephos, for racing tonight and giving us a solid 2 hours of entertainment. Make sure you give these guys a follow. I just posted the runner's command in the Speed Gaming 2 chat there. Make sure you follow my co-commentator Solsky and our awesome tracker for the evening, Siderial. And you follow me too if you want. You don't have to. If you stay tuned here on this channel, Speed Gaming 2, if you wait around 40 minutes, you will be treated with Earthbound Bogey 10% tournament race. And currently we have right now A Link to the Past randomizer going on Speed Gaming 1. That's not with the number 1, it's just twitch.tv/speedgaming. Might be giving a host out to that in just a sec. That is actually a 4-way race in the name of DT versus Furimi and JSR2 Gamers versus Spooty Biscuit. Say hi to Aaron Doby while you're in there. He's doing some commentary for us with that. And if you are a night owl in America or an early bird in Europe, we have a 3 a.m. Eastern Time / 9 a.m. Central European Time race between Jay Cooper and Yagamoth. That's also going to be on Speed Gaming. So that is what we have coming up for A Link to the Past. For details on all of the Link to the Past races, make sure you check out the Link to the Past spreadsheet. We do actually have 2 tournaments going on at the same time, so tons of races for us to check out. And for more info on what's happening on the Speed Gaming Network, there are 4 Speed Gaming channels, remember now. Check out the schedule there. So once again, thank you so much for watching. Thanks to the runners, and a big shout out to Fiesel for running all the behind the scenes stuff. I, once again, am Cross Product. I am joined by Solsky.
See you later, everyone.
Peace here. Everyone have yourselves a great evening.
Goodbye forever.